Hello, a very good morning to one and all. Welcome back to Signatures. This is the second class, which is dealing with Pablo Neruda's memoirs. In the first class, we have already seen a summary, and here I have tried to include whatever was not there in the first class. So, this is a continuation of the first class, where you will be seeing new things which are not there in the first class. So, we start with the major literary works of Pablo Neruda. Residence on Earth, Canto General, 20 Love Poems and a Song of Despair, Pain in My Heart, and Then Come Back, The Lost Neruda. So, these are the major works of Pablo Neruda. The turning point of his life came with his duty in Spain. So he was assigned the duty of ambassador, and when he was in Spain, he was able to meet some great personalities or literary figures. His friendship with leading Spanish literary figures like Federico Garcia Lorca led him to support the Republican group during the Spanish Civil War. So he was involved with the Spanish Civil War, where he supported the Republican group. In 1950, he visited Delhi for an interview with Jawaharlal Nehru. So he was also very fortunate to have visited India, and we are also very fortunate in that sense. His poetry appeared in Hindi, Urdu and Bengali. So even at that time, he was a very famous writer. So the government of India had really given him great honor by publishing his works in 3 languages of India. Neruda was named along with Chaplin, that is Charlie Chaplin, Gandhi and Kennedy, as one of the most outstanding characters of the 20th century. So you can imagine his greatness. He was named along with other people like Charlie Chaplin, Gandhiji and also Kennedy as one of the most outstanding personalities of the 20th century. Neruda had great love and respect for the Cuban Revolution. So he was actually a leftist. He was attracted by the Marxian ideologies. So definitely he supported Cuban Revolution and all. Neruda confesses his uncompromising stand and pride in being a fighting revolutionary, as he calls himself. So he was a revolutionary, and he was very proud of being known as a fighting revolutionary. He hated the ravages of war and the hate it engendered. So ravages means the destruction. So he was a pacifist. He was against war and its destruction. But he strongly believed in the power of love. So he was a very optimistic person. I am convinced that there will be mutual understanding among human beings achieved in spite of all the suffering, the blood, the broken glass. So we know that in spite of all the conflicts and wars that are going on in the world, we human beings have the ability to live together in love and understanding and all that. That's why the world is still there. Otherwise it would have ended long time back. Some of the lines from Neruda have become immortal. Those words are: you can cut all the flowers, but you cannot keep spring from coming. So look at the hope that he exhumes, how he is inspiring other people. He's telling that even if you cut all the flowers, there will be spring coming in the next year. Again, there will be more flowers. So whatever you destroy, it will spring back to life. That's what he thinks. I want to do with you what spring does to the cherry trees. So cherry trees are blossoming and flowering in the springtime. So that shows his hope. He wants people to come back to life, come back to hope, rather than being pessimistic. The Colombian novelist Gabriel Garcia Marquez is well known for his novel titled 100 Years of Solitude. I suggest that you read the book if it is possible. It's a great book. So this writer from Colombia, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, called him the greatest poet of the 20th century in any language. So that is a great tribute to Neruda. Now coming back to the book, Memoirs, that is Neruda's life story as well as a fine narration of Latin American history. So it tells us about his life, but also the story of Latin American history. It is a self-exploration of an enigmatic personality who shares his passion for poetry and politics and reveals his intimate association with Lorca, Vallejo, Picasso, Gandhi, Mao, Castro, Allende and many other people. So he is writing not only about his life, he is also writing about his country and also the whole continent, the Latin American history. And it's a self-exploration, that is, going deeper into his self, his personality. And his personality was rather mysterious, that's the meaning of enigmatic, very difficult to understand. Every person is an enigma in that sense. And he had a great passion for poetry and also politics. And he was associated with many great people like Lorca. Lorca means Federico Garcia Lorca, the Spanish poet and writer. And Vallejo is actually Cesar Vallejo, is a Peruvian writer, poet and playwright. And Picasso, of course, is a great painter. Gandhiji, Mao is actually Mao Zedong. He is also known as Mao Zedong, who is the founding father of the People's Republic of China. And Castro, of course, Fidel Castro of Cuba. And Allende was, of course, the Chilean president who was his friend. Now, coming back to the section titled The Word. The section entitled The Word is a great paean to poetry. Paean means praise or tribute. This passage is replete with images and surrealistic expressions. Replete means full of. So this passage about the word is full of images, word pictures and also surrealistic expressions. Surrealistic means it is a type of expression where you find lack of coherence or lack of logic. Somehow they don't have an order. Now I will give you some picture of surrealistic painting, then you will understand what is surrealism. It is highly suggestive and picturesque. So this passage about the word suggests and gives us a lot of ideas, and also it is also picturesque. Picturesque means visually attractive. So he is actually trying to bring out many imageries in this passage. So this is a painting of surrealism. You can see how it is. You have so many objects which are not actually going in with the same type, or there is no kind of order here. or unity. Everything is lacking. That is surrealism for you. Now you come starting the section titled The Word. So he is talking about words. Here you can see how madly he was in love with words, how passionate he was. So he is trying to bring out his passion for words in so many images or pictures. You can say anything you want, yes sir, but it is the words that sing, that soar and descend. So whatever we say, whatever words, whether it is good or bad, according to him, they are words that sing, that soar and descend, like a bird that sings, soar and come down. I bow to them. So he is bowing before the words. I love them, I cling to them, I pursue them, I bite them, I melt them down. I love words so much. So all these phrases, love them, cling to them, pursue them. Pursue means to go after. All this shows how much madly he is in love with words. The unexpected ones, the ones I greedily wait for or stalk until suddenly they drop. So sometimes he is coming across unexpected words, and there are the ones he is greedily waiting for, very passionately. Or stalk. Stalk means to go after, to pursue. Pintudruga. That's the meaning of stalking. Until suddenly they drop from nowhere. Vowels I love. Of course, the 5 vowels he loved the most, because you cannot make a word without vowels. Maybe the reason for that. They glitter like colored stones. So vowels are like colored stones that shine. They leap like silver fish. They are foam, thread, metal, dew. So these are the different words he is trying to describe the vowels. I run after certain words. They are so beautiful that I want to fit them all into my poem. Of course, a writer has to be passionate. He should be madly in love with the words. Only then, the poem will be regenerated or created. I catch them in mid-flight as they buzz past. It's like a bird or a moth or something like that, butterfly is catching them as they are flying around. I trap them, clean them, peel them. I set myself in front of the dish. So he is making a kind of food with the words. And they have crystalline texture to me. So texture means appearance. So these words look like crystal according to him. Vibrant, ivory, vegetable, oily, like fruit, like algae, like agates, like olives. So vibrant means full of energy. Ivory, the ivory is, anakombu, or even the color of ivory, off-white. Vegetable, of course, these are all related to food. Oily, like fruit, like algae, like agates. Agates are vidurium, colorful stones, like olives. And then I stir them up. Stir means to move them with a spoon or something, like food, like making soup or something like that. I shake them, I drink them, I gulp them down, swallow them down. I mash them. Mash means, break them into small pieces. I garnish them, decorate the food. Then I let them go. I leave them like stalactites in my poem. Stalactites, the chunambal, as they are dripping slowly. After a long time, it is formed like a kind of long stick, that is stalactites. Like slivers of polished wood. Sliver is a small piece of wood. Like coals, charcoal. pickings from a shipwreck. Pickings here means what is remaining of a shipwreck, a ship that is wrecked or destroyed. Gifts from the waves, so you can go and collect these pieces of a ship that is destroyed in the sea. So he is comparing words to all these things, different things, like gifts thrown into the sea which you collect and all that. Everything exists in the word, so there is nothing that is outside the word. If it exists, definitely it will have a word. That's why he says everything exists in the world. An idea goes through a complete change because a word shifted its place. Sometimes by changing a place of a word, you can change the meaning in a sentence. Or because another one settled down like a spoiled little thing inside a phrase that is not expecting her but obeys her. Sometimes you find a particular word is a misfit, it doesn't suit there, it doesn't fit there, but still you can make some meaning out of that. So it all depends on the poet, which word he is going to place in a particular place. The writer, the poet has the freedom to do that. They have shadow, transparency. So you find the contrasting ideas. Shadow means something is falling on the light is falling on an object and then creates shadow. Transparency means the light is going through the object. That is transparency. So words have got shadow and also transparency, both. Weighty feathers, hair and everything they gathered from so much rolling down the river. So here he is comparing words like rolling stones or even a rolling object or even a bird that is rolling over and over, and then you find its feathers or hair, everything is getting sticky or becoming very heavy. So when words are rolling and rolling over the years, like rolling down the river, it accumulates a lot of meaning. So that's the meaning here. A particular word, after transacting and communicating for so many years, it can have a lot of meanings. Sometimes one word can have 70, 80 meanings. So that's the reference here. From so much wandering from country to country, from being roots so long. So a word can travel from one country to the other. Sometimes it can change the meaning, sometimes it gathers a lot of other meanings. So they are like stones rolling and then gathering a lot of moss. They are very ancient and very new. So some words are very old, some are very new. They live in the beer hidden away and in the budding flower. So beer is actually a stand for keeping the coffin, the dead body. So you look at the contradiction here. A dead body and also a budding flower. Both are almost opposite to each other. But you can find word there in the coffin and also in a budding flower. You cannot escape word. What a great language I have. It's a fine language we inherited from the fierce conquistadors. So here conquistadors are actually the Spanish conquerors. So their language is Spanish. So he is indebted to the Spanish conquerors who came and conquered their land. They strode over the giant cordilleras. Cordilleras actually big mountains. That's actually a Spanish word for mountain ranges. Over the rugged Americas, hunting for potatoes, sausages, beans, black tobacco, gold, corn, fried eggs, with a voracious appetite not found in the world since then. So the conquerors came for hunting many things like the potatoes, the sausages. Those are the things they could find in Latin America. They swallowed up everything: religions, pyramids, tribes, idolatries, just like the ones they brought along in their huge sacks. So the conquerors who came there, they destroyed everything, their religion, their pyramids, tribes, idolatries, the statues they worshipped, and then they replaced their gods with their own gods. That's the meaning here. They brought along in their own huge sacks. So they destroyed whatever was found there, their civilization, and then they brought in their own civilization, their culture, language, everything, including religion and gods. Wherever they went, they razed the land. Razed means destroyed. But words fell like pebbles out of the boots of the barbarians, out of their beards, their helmets, their horseshoes, luminous words that were left glittering here. So, in spite of all that destruction, he is finding words left there. So, these words fell like pebbles, like stones out of their boots. The barbarians are actually the conquerors, Spanish conquerors. So, out of their beards, that means their helmets, their horseshoes, everything. So, whatever they were or they brought the words along with them. Luminous words, bright, shining words that were left glittering here. So, after the conquest, when they left behind their language along with the words. Our language, see, he is very proud about the language. We came of losers, we came of winners. So they lost something, but at the end they won. They won. They were victorious in the sense they were able to have the language, the Spanish language. They carried off the gold and they left us the gold. So in the first class I had explained this. What they carried off was the real gold, and what they left here is the word. They carried everything off and they left us everything. They left us the words. So as long as they left the language, they left everything. That's what Pablo Neruda thinks. So throughout this section you find his passion for words, how madly he was in love with words. So with that we have come to the end of this lesson. Thank you and have a great day.